why is this song still extremely popular? It's because it's real. Hello there, girls and boys. It took a while, but finally we're coming back to The Police, and we're gonna be reacting to the one and only Roxanne from the album Outlandos d'Humour, which is a song that is extremely famous, but also happens to be a very good take on how to write music with as little as possible instruments and elements. So this is gonna be a masterclass on minimalism. So stay tuned because this track is badass. But before we go, if this is your first time in this channel, I welcome you because in here we analyze the music that we love from the perspective of an active musician and professional music producer, using language that everybody can understand, in a way to expand knowledge when it comes to music production and songwriting. So if this is your jam, let's rock and roll. Here we go. So here we go, girls and boys. Roxanne by The Police.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, Roxanne, Roxanne,
What a cool track, isn't it? This is a classic for many reasons. The first thing that I want to point out is that fantastic moment at the beginning of the track on which clearly someone pushed some keys on a piano, because you can hear that there is a dissonant tone or dissonant chord coming out of nowhere, and then it's followed by laughter, and I assume it's Sting's voice. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that has always been part of what attracted me to this song in the first place, which is quite weird, but it's fun. And they left it there for a reason. It's kind of musical in a way. Now, what do you think about the sound of everything? It has a particular charm to it, don't you think? Everything sounds extremely organic. The drums are bombastic. They're loud and punchy and powerful. But at the same time, they don't feel massive sounding, for example, compared to a record by Guns N' Roses or Metallica's Black Album, which are renowned for having those bombastic sounds. In this case, we're dealing with a punchy drum kit, but not overly processed. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Then it's a weird mix of many genres, don't you think? Because the electric guitar at the beginning is kind of reggae-like, a little bit reminiscent to Bob Marley's approach to guitar playing, but also it got this rock and roll vibe to everything, and it's punchy and powerful. So you get that kind of weird blend of everything. Now, I love the sound of Sting's voice in this record because I don't think that he's at his sharpest when it comes to precision for his singing. And by precision, I mean how close to the actual note he's singing is. Most of the time he's there, but a little bit off by a small margin. But don't know if it's by design, but I love it. It's part of the charm of the track. It makes it feel even more raw, more natural sounding. This is way before our clinically produced music that we have to deal with today, so-called music for that matter. And it shows. Why is this song still extremely popular? It's because it's real. This song has feelings. This song actually represents ideas, and they are projected in an organic fashion because it was produced by human beings. What do you think about that? Now, another thing that I want to point out is that how minimalistic the arrangement of the track is. The Police later on became super ambitious in the way that they wrote their music. But this track, it's very simplistic in the sense of it being comprised only by drums, guitars, vocal harmonies, and bass. No more than that. And you'll see once I keep playing the track for you, if you haven't heard this track before, that you have already seen everything the track has to offer in terms of instrumentation. Now, before I press play, I want you to pay attention to the sound of the vocals and the guitars in particular. There is something quite cool happening, and I don't know if it's a result of the recording process or if they were added during the post-production. So let's keep listening to it. But pay attention to the sound, particularly in the release. Here we go. So cool.
I know my mind is made up, so put away your makeup. Told you once, I won't tell you again. It's the bad way. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. You don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, Roxanne,
Short and sweet, right? This track, it's pure rock and roll. A straight to the point, no nonsense approach to songwriting. And maybe that's the reason why I like it so much, because it's totally different from the way that I like to write my music. But wherever I digress. Did you pay attention to the sound of the vocals and the guitars I told you? Could you tell that there is a slight kind of ambience-like sound that it's part of the guitar, particularly the guitar is much more noticeable in there. This is known as reverb, for those of you who were already expecting me to mention this. And reverb, it's a way that we produce this artificial sense of space by artificial methods, of course. And I am pointing at this particular effect, which sounds like this, reverb, because the drums, they have reverb, but I think it's coming out of the recording itself. This is not necessarily speaking the sound of a reverb engine applied to the drums. Why am I assuming that? Because of how organic everything feels. It feels like it was recorded in a very big room and highly reflective surfaces. Reflective surfaces means, for example, when you go inside of a bathroom, and the reason why people like to sing in the shower is because those rooms are filled to the rim with reflective surfaces. And that sound that you hear is reverb, of course, and it has the tendency of making sounds less terrible than they actually are. Okay? That's why people like to sing in the shower. Now, in here, we deal with a very roomy sounding drum kit, sorry, I always mess those words up, which you can clearly hear in the snare. The snare has it, pa, but it has like, poo, don't you think? It's very, very natural sounding. And I think the guitar and the vocals, the approach for the reverb was to kind of match that ambience-like sound that is so integral to the tone of the drums in a very clever way. I like it a lot. You don't see that many flashy things happening in this album, and in this song in particular, it's very, very bare bones, and I love it. Now, let's take a look at the screen now, because I want to discuss with you the sound of the mix itself. Here we go, girls and boys. Right in front of us, we've got Decibel, the tool that we use to analyze music through the use of a visual medium. In the first array of meters, we got this guy, which is the frequency range analyzer, and it represents, through the use of that white line, how loud each of the different frequencies that that comprises the human hearing range were projected to us while the track was playing. You got the lowest, which is 20, all the way down to 20,000, which is the highest we can hear as human beings. And as expected, we got a very, very kind of even looking frequency range because of how much, or this is proving the thing that I've been trying to point at as much as I can throughout this whole review, the natural sound of the mix itself. You don't have an incredibly big or loud or very bombastic sounding low end. Even though the mix sounds punchy, it's because of how hard the drummer was hitting the kick drum while they were recording. And you got that natural sound to it. In much modern productions, you got this gigantic low end that you got in front of you. And when compared to this track, well, now you see what I mean by organic, right? This track has everything, or everything about this track is making it feel as real to life as possible without sounding raw. Because a raw recording tends to sound a little bit poor. I don't know if that makes sense to you. For those of you who have recorded yourself, you know what I mean by that. Because there is some shine that is not there when you are tracking. And that's why you need a mixer. So in this case, we're dealing with a mix that it's actually the production, I can tell that it was actually aiming for preserving as much as possible the raw power of the band while they perform live. And I think we got a clear representation for it. When it comes to the mids and highs, you don't have a super annoyingly loud high end. Even though Sting's singing, Sting voice is very high pitched. The entirety of the track, he's pushing himself to his own limits. Don't know how good he is now at singing this track live. I think he's still very good. But tell me if you happen to have seen him live in the last few years, because, well, I don't know how old is him, and please remind me his age by the moment of this video being released, because he's not young anymore. I'm going to put it that way. But he's still a great singer. Actually, I reacted to one of his newest songs a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, and I was kind of concerned with the state of his vocal chops, but it seems that from some of the comments, he's still awesome. But please let me know what do you think about his vocals now. But coming back to this, yeah, he's singing quite high-pitched, but the mix itself feels not silky, but punchy and a little bit with an edge, if that makes sense to you. So that's good. Now, moving over to the second section of our analyzer. This is what is known as the dynamic range analyzer. And in this, we see how loud the track has been throughout time. Important because when we're dealing with music, when a signal is quiet, we feel it as more directed to us, more intimate. And when something is much more louder, it feels more exciting. And by using those elements while mixing, you can develop some form of emotion, because the music itself is meant to be emotional, right? And even though we are dealing with a happy sounding, energetic, and balls to the wall attitude track, we're still rocking a good and healthy amount of dynamic range. And even though this is the remastered version, after I listened to it, I decided to use this one rather than the original because it's not bad. And actually, I want to make a point here. When you're remastering, normally speaking, the whole point of remastering is trying to make the record as loud as the current stage of affairs is, because all the records were mixed and mastered for vinyl, and vinyl has a way without having to go down the rabbit hole of audio, vinyl is quieter sounding by many reasons, okay, than CD and digital distribution services. And remastering was quite in vogue back in the day because, well, all of these acts wanted to be as loud as the newer ones. So remastering became a thing, right? It comes with many other caveats, such as improvements over the original mix and stuff like that, okay? But this one is a good representation of a properly done remaster, for that matter. And in here, we see that even though the record is louder than the original, it's still preserving the dynamic range that I mentioned before. You can tell that the beginning is quiet, and here's where the kick drum and the drum kit in general kicked in, and here's the majestic first chorus. You can see that the song is getting louder throughout time, just for it to develop momentum for the chorus to drop on us and make us, well, sing and dance along to the track, because this is a badass singing track. Now, Second verse, the same happens. As I said before, the orchestration in this track is quite minimalistic, and it's basically just following the same pattern as before. And we got here just an even louder final chorus. Well, because obviously the song is already super, super exciting, and I can't imagine the amount of excitement that this track developed during the heyday of this track back in the 80s. Damn it, being there live would have been amazing. If you happen to be there when that took place, please let me know, because I want to know as much as I can about those days. That was badass. So there you have it, girls and boys. This track is kind of short. Well, it's super short actually. But see how many things we could discuss out of it. Another testament or another piece of evidence to how amazing we used to make music and how good we were, not us, but humanity as a whole, when producing music that made sense and still had commercial appeal. How far have we fallen, don't you think? Well, that's a piece for you to think about, but what do you think about that? And also, which song from The Police should I react next? Because these guys are one of my favorite bands ever, and they have plenty of great music to analyze together. Some way longer than this, some are as short as this one, but that's the beauty of The Police. They know how to write music. And, well, please let me know. Also, tell me which The Police album is your favorite and what do you think about Sting's solo career, because, yeah, it's just out of curiosity, of course. Now, girls and boys, if you like to support this kind of content, the best way to do it is by listening to our music on Apple Music or Spotify, and also by following us on social media such as Instagram and X, because that's the best way for you to get in touch with us in a much more personal basis. Now, girls and boys, as every single time that I meet you, I gotta remind you that you should never let anybody tell you what to dream about. And remember that I will see you when I see you.